Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Protected and Promoted, the Business Table, where we sit down with leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers who are helping businesses grow and communities thrive. I'm your host, Juan Castañeda, and today's guest is someone whose work impacts thousands of entrepreneurs across Bexar County. As the director of the Bexar County Small Business and Entrepreneurship Department, Renee Watson leads initiatives that provide education, business resources, certifications, and contracting opportunities that help local businesses not only survive, but grow and compete. Whether you're thinking about starting a business or you've been in business for years, today's conversation is packed with valuable insights. So, Renee, welcome to the table.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be able to join you and just share a few moments about what we do, how we do it, and then how you can get in touch with us and all of the audience and those that we serve. We're very excited and honored to be with you today.
I appreciate that. Well, just a little icebreaker. I like to ask just a couple of questions just to get to know you a little bit, right? But so for to get yourself up in the morning, is it coffee or tea?
Probably just water.
Really?
But by the time I get mid-morning, it's a little tea, and then mid-afternoon, it's coffee. So all day I have all three.
I love it. Well, what's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
That I'm a doll maker. I have arts and crafts, and I do a lot of glue and those kind of things to honor women and those and the different types of holidays, cancer centers, and those kind of things. And I'm a doll maker for arts and crafts.
Get out! I would love
You would
to.
Never known that.
Never. I would love to see them.
I'll have to bring you one. I have several on my phone. The pictures. I'll show them to you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
yes.
Because we have my sister was diagnosed with cancer about 15 years ago. She started a group, and then I started making the dolls, and she nicknamed them Survivor Dolls. So I make them at different stages. So they're just the top of the head, and you put them on a Renews It air freshener to keep you fresh. And we also work with young women, and especially with fathers. And I've done some group trainings. So when the young women go into puberty, that's how they can. It's an icebreaker for us to have a talk about freshness under the dress.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That is wonderful. And it is. I have a friend here with a Crown and Crook, and she does. She has a studio,
Laser,
and they do crafts and things as well. And I'm like, that would be a great class.
That really would. Yes.
And what does your perfect Saturday look like?
Just probably sleep, staying, just hanging out at the house. And pretty much doing anything. But if it's a Saturday, it's hot. Doing a little bit of stuff inside and outside. I love working in the garden and in the yard.
Oh, that's wonderful. My boyfriend's the same way. I'm like, normally if I get a plant, though, I know he's keeping it alive. It's his plant, ultimately.
That's right. I keep him at the office. We have quite a few office plants. And some folks, some offices, they don't make it, and then they'll bring it over to us.
You're the rehabilitation site?
Yes, I'm the rehab specialist.
I love it. Well, if your friends described you in 3 words, what would they say?
She makes me do it without thinking about it. Yeah. And I have several friends that will say, why am I doing this? You were supposed to be doing this. And they're already moving without telling them to move and doing different stuff. Very persuasive.
There we go.
Without being persuasive.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more like inspiration, right? Just inspiring you to do something.
Absolutely. I'm teleprompting you.
And so just a little bit about yourself is, where did you grow up?
I'm a native San Antonio, born and raised East Side San Antonio. Still live in my mom's house where we were raised. I was out of the city for probably around 20 years working out in California, Houston, going to school in New York. But born and raised, I'm a native East Side San Antonio. Graduated from Sam Houston High School, UTSA, undergraduate. Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
And what were you like when you were younger?
Well, how can I say?
Because you're young, but when you were younger.
Well, in the school days, my family called me the general because everybody thought I was going to the military. But I was too scared to rappel off a building when I was in ROTC. So I changed my majors to study business, marketing, and management. Wow. I was always active politically in our neighborhood because Normally, when the problems arose, people would call me because I had the courage and I learned how to go down to City Hall when I was 11 years old to get a pothole fixed.
Get out.
Yes, and then Henry Cisneros at the time, he was a city councilman in District 1 before he became the mayor. And I was in the first class in my high school of the pre-freshman engineering program at UTSA with Dr. B, and who has recently passed. So getting involved in seeing the public side and the political side probably is why I end up like I am today.
Yeah, I love it. Who would you say inspired you to be that way?
So probably my grandmother had a lot to do with it because she was like, "Don't come back without the answer, and don't ask me. Go find the answer, and then we'll talk about it." And then on the political side, Ann Richards.
Yes.
Ann Richards, I received a gubernatorial appointment from her on the job training partnership, which is now workforce, because we were looking at jobs. The revitalization, and Kelly Air Force Base was closing at the time, which is now Port San Antonio. There was a lot of different jobs, a lot of things happening in the city. When I received that appointment, I actually got to go get ethics training from Barbara Jordan, who was a congresswoman out of Houston at the LBJ School of Business in Austin, Texas. She scared the crap out of me. I never would even take an ink pen. I was so scared just listening to her booming voice and the waste and the just everything that she was about.
Yeah, like a presence, right?
Yes,
like
her aura just set the tone. She
I
rolled
love
in,
that.
and at that time she was already in a wheelchair. So she rolled in, and everybody was talking. And immediately, the room went quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't like to blow smoke, and I want you to know I really genuinely mean this. You're one of those people that your aura walks in before you do, and I love that about you. And that's just kind of my I can definitely see you in that same light where I can take something from that.
Oh, well,
So
thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, we work on that because all we have is our integrity and our character.
yeah,
And everything else you can earn, but it can go away in a matter of a second.
that's
So
right.
you just got to stay focused and keep that about yourself.
Well, that's great because that was going to be one of my questions. Really, kind of what values have guided you throughout your career,
Yes.
and I think that speaks volumes. Really,
Absolutely, because I've been a public servant since I was in high school,
yeah.
and you see the corruption, you see the back doors, you see how people talk about folks, right? You
Yeah,
see that we have such great individuals become politicians, and because of certain things, they experience the downfall, either
yeah,
bribery, corruption, or those things. So when you sit back and you watch what has happened,
yeah,
especially in your communities, especially today,
yeah,
and we really have to focus on how do we get past that and stay focused. And I'm in the procurement side, and that's a real tough area to be in with
yeah,
no bid contracts, solicitation, bribes, and I've seen it, and I've gotten away from it as soon as I could.
yeah, yeah. I know, right? It's the temptation that some, if they don't have that
That's
foundation
right.
of who they are at the core,
Yes,
then you don't know, you lose your way,
that's
and
right.
I think that's great that you're anchored in that way.
And you also, if you don't understand, or if you're living beyond your means, because
Hmm.
sometimes you want to keep up with your neighbor and you can't afford it. So
Yeah,
then you get, you're susceptible to certain things because you need certain things. Yeah,
I get that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, every leader has a story. How did your professional journey lead you to Bear County?
So I've had 100 jobs, first of all.
Hmm.
Well, when I was in college, I actually did my internship at UTSA Small Business Development Center.
Oh,
Their
wonderful.
office was located downtown underneath the Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So then I went to school, kept working, worked again. I actually ran away with a circus. I was a director of field marketing.
Hmm.
And when that finished, I was at home in Houston at the time. And Commissioner Atkinson, City Councilman Salas, and a couple other folks called me and said, "Hey, there's a position that you need to come home and work."
Hmm.
That's when the county was building the home for the SBC Center. And I
Wow.
started at the county May 2000. And I've been at the county 26 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Because
that.
of community connections. But I was already prepared because I had my master's degree in urban planning and rural economic development. So
Hmm.
it wasn't a fringe job.
Yeah,
You were prepared for the job.
yeah. It's almost like you were, I mean, you were destined for it in a sense. And I love that somebody else could see that in you.
Yeah.
where they're like, I just think you're gonna not only fit this job, but really make use of it and make a difference in it. And I believe you have, definitely.
Well, I appreciate that
Yeah.
because every day I get to meet folks like you
Mm.
and get to see you in your journey. I've had folks that come to me. I teach a class inside the Bexar County Detention Center to incarcerated individuals. And I've seen them over the years come back to tell me because they're released, they got great businesses and they're hiring people.
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about.
I love that. Well, um, having gone through these 100+ different jobs, how has your leadership changed over the years? Even if just thinking of in your time with Bexar County.
Well, the first 5 years at the county was me by myself.
Mm.
And now I have a staff of 11 other individuals, and we had 4 interns. So from going from 1 doing the mission to 16 is a task, because each one of them, uh, you have to empower people and train people to do their job instead of trying to do it for them. Because mistakes are the best things, the way we learn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn, you continue to earn, as we say in the office. Because I have to help you, not just do it for you. And we trained some folks, and they're leading some other opportunities. We've had some people that worked on my team, and they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They started their own business. They got the bug. We had one leave just last week. It's stepping out after 16 years at the county, and he's going to open up his own business.
So it seems like from where your career path and education was already going, you were going to be helping entrepreneurs in some way or another. But did you ever see that as the main point of your career when you were just in education, like learning?
Considering my first opportunity was at the Small Business Development Center, because my original dream was to go into Peace Corps.
Wow.
I wanted to go into the Peace Corps. I actually signed up right out of high school. And we were at the Guadalupe Theater one night, and I had my bags packed and everything. And the United States went to war in Grenada, I believe. And we got to notice that program was being put on hold because I had been selected and had a placement to go help in Poland and all of the things that were going on at that time. So I was so excited. I was so devastated that I didn't get to go in the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
But I wound up being what they call a U.S. Action Volunteer, which is similar to the AmeriCorps. Yeah. But I had a 9-month placement at UTSA, Small Business Development Center.
Yeah.
And from that, I learned and I started seeing the faces and how they change people's lives. So between the politics, because I'm also a precinct chair, I've worked many campaigns. I've gotten involved with many elected officials around this country. And, they just kind of parallel together.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people know about the department, but they don't know about the department,
Yes.
What is something you can tell us? What would you tell us about your department if you were just to give me a brief summary?
So our program is aimed at supporting in local business, no matter what you sell, trying to figure out how to help you sell it and where's your marketplace. Yeah. Whether your marketplace is in retail, goods, commodity services, construction, professional services. But retail is usually the most difficult one because how do you get that B2B or that consumer sale? It's kind of not like what we do at the center. But a year and a half ago, Commissioner's Court allowed us to move into a 9,000 square foot facility on Paramvital. And to be able to have a training room, we have a podcast room, we have several meetings rooms, and we have a link where people can come in and get on the spot training. And it's a computer room where you can set up because many times today you have your device that you're working on the phone, but if you're really doing business, you might need a little bit bigger of a screen. You might not have one at home, but you can come out of the office and be a part of that. So the Business Opportunity Center is set up to link anyone for acceleration, no matter what you're trying to do. So it's our job is to know who's out there and where you can do business.
And so, at what stage would you say somebody should get in touch with your office?
Well, we see all across. We'll see from a young person who has an idea, and we go to the classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Most times we get invited for career day, and we turn it and we sneak in under the career day and we talk
Mm-hmm.
about being an entrepreneur as a young person,
Yeah.
having a bank account, establishing a savings account. So when you get out of college, you have some seed money to become an entrepreneur. No matter whether you're going to a trade school or no matter what you're trying to do, you have to understand the finances of that side.
Yeah.
And as you grow, we've had those. I mean, the greatest story I can ever tell, right, is I had a 13-year-old that was in a class out in Justin Independent School District. He had a bookmarker and he wound up
Mm-hmm.
getting it patented. And it was a great thing that him and his brother came up with for their business and their family. Um, it's probably all over the place now. And then the last time I saw him a few years ago, I was like, "Well, how's the business doing?" He said, "Oh, we gave that up." He was an economics student at UT Austin because he understood the mathematics.
Yeah.
So, but he was a business owner,
Yeah.
and he'll always have that bug in him. I know, no matter where
Uh-huh.
he goes in STEM, to be a part of that.
Wow.
So even if you have an idea, we've had, and we've had individuals come to us who are trying to collect their $12 million from the IRS because their business is trying to expand overseas and they have some immigration and import export bank issues.
Yeah.
So we see a little bit of everybody.
Gotcha. Well, and I guess, and that might be the facility we're talking about. Is that also what we're getting to know as the Small Business Opportunity Center?
That's correct, because it's all kind of opportunities.
Yeah.
And as we look at what is it that we do, our primary function is to bring folks in to sell whatever the county buys.
Mm.
And that includes
Mm-hmm.
our office and departments, as well as our funded entities and facilities,
Yeah.
such as what's happening at the Coliseum, what's happening with the SBC Center, Frost Bank Center. Now we don't know what the center is going to be named, but we're working with the rodeo to figure out with the new venue tax, the 200 million, and the Spurs Arena downtown. How do we connect you with those types of opportunities?
Yeah.
On our website, we have opportunities in all the counties that touch Bexar County.
Yeah.
So you can go to the site and you can see it's 17 school districts just in San Antonio, Bexar County. If you want to do schoolwork, maybe you like dealing with teachers that you could sell to.
Mm-hmm.
We have the links all over that site, so you don't have to waste time trying to find them.
Right. And I know you have webinars that you have
Absolutely.
for the public as well, and I love that because again, it's all about accessibility, and I love that you make it possible for maybe those who aren't as mobile, maybe those who don't have the time to break away.
Mm-hmm.
They can still, they definitely can still jump on their computer.
Absolutely. And we really work hard on those, on all of the streamings that we do. If we're doing
Yeah,
a training, we try to live stream it and record it and then post it, because we do have a YouTube channel.
yeah,
And you can go in and you can search all kind of stuff. So if you
yeah,
want to start a business, we have the county clerk several years ago walking through the building to demystify it, and Clear Channel Communication helped us with that, and
yeah.
Spectrum to develop those types. We have some veterans because we have the Military and Services Veterans Department, and you can register your DD 214, and you got different veterans programs that you qualify for.
Gotcha. And I think that's, the resources are there. You just gotta stop by or go look.
That's right. And we'll
Um,
give you a whole. We have 302 listings
yeah,
on our stakeholders list. We'll give you a copy of it, and it's on our website.
I
And
love
it's
that.
broken up by sections.
Yeah,
If you want to do schoolwork, you want to do state of Texas, federals.
yeah.
If you need assistance, there's banks and lending opportunities. And it has the name of the organization, person, their email, phone number, and then their website.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm learning right now too, guys. Um, so what are some mistakes that you see entrepreneurs do, like a common mistake in business?
So depending on the process, usually they don't sign their documents. They're
Mm,
not taking full responsibility of their business. And being a part of the county, we also engage and we get the folks that have been through the court system on the civil side.
mhm.
So we'll have folks, and believe it or not, people still write hot checks, and you'll take a check instead of a swipe,
Yeah,
and then what do you do with it?
yeah,
Well, we work with the DA's office. They have a hot check section, and you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many men don't document their wages, and then there's this divorce that happens, and then they have to go back and they think that no way they can find out how much money you made.
Yeah.
But they did do some deposits, so that could be rebuilt. And we've had individuals come to us looking for loans to help with their business, and we can't help them. They got themselves in a little bit of trouble
Yeah.
to be a part of that. So those are kind
Wow.
of some of the tough decisions. Some of the easier things is folks not taking advantage of the resources that are there,
Yeah.
or it's so many scams out here now. Don't pay $5,000 to get a DBA when it only costs $22. Call us first. We had a lady come in that was being charged about $3,000 to get her certification. It's absolutely free. So if you Google, if you kind of go in AI, it'll give you some places, and usually they are not the free places and free sources.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of scams out there, and we're seeing more and more of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, go to a organization, a governmental page, as opposed to trying to just, instead of Googling, you can really find a lot of what you need for
Yes.
you and your business on the Small Business Entrepreneurship Department page with Bexar County.
Absolutely. Or you can go to SBA.gov for the federal resources.
Okay.
And we have
Yeah.
a link off of that page back to us. But
Fantastic.
go through the more reputable ones, because it's so many scams out there right now. We're seeing so many people are losing their money, their hard work savings, they're getting laid off, they took out their 401k, and they have a wad of cash and a great idea. Within 4 months, they're out of business.
So I did have a question on networking.
Yes.
I know you had recently hosted with Bridging the Gap.
Yes.
Wonderful. I enjoy going to them.
Yes.
But how do you feel networking is, and is it important in business? How do you feel about networking?
Absolutely. Depending on what you sell, making sure you're not wasting time with just any audience, though, because there's so many groups. We get there are 17 chambers of commerce, I believe, in San Antonio and Bexar County. Okay. And folks will say, well, Renee, which one would you choose? Well, I want to know the audience, who's at each one.
Yeah.
Do they buy what I sell? Because if everyone in the room is trying to sell, then I can't make any connections, right? If it's sellers and sellers versus sellers and buyers, right?
Yeah.
So, or if I'm not interested in becoming their president on their board, I won't get a membership. I'll just pay the extra $5 and attend their events. Because most of the time, the event is $5 or $10 more for a member, because a member still has to pay. It's not free for a member, right?
Yeah.
So then you go and you check it out, spend some time, because those are your marketing dollars in your office. Yeah. And you might only have $1,000 set aside for the whole year. Yeah. And then you pay a membership, you still got to pay for the rest of the year to go to the events. So have some strategic planning in what you're trying to do, and make sure the audience is buys what you sell. Sometimes there's a chamber, sometimes there's an industry or trade group, or sometimes there's if I'm in the human resource business, because I do some type of benefits, or I need to reach people's employees, I'd be networking with the Society of Human Resource Managers. They have monthly things. If I'm a professional engineer, I would be in my industry and trade group. So it depends on what you sell,
and maybe even what you're trying to take out of it. Like if you want to have peer-to-peer conversations, then maybe you'll go to an insurance convention or
absolutely
a promotionals convention. But if it's something like you're saying, I want people that I know can use. So in my case, other business owners,
yes,
I would go to Bridging the Gap, because a lot of the times they're organizational leaders or business owners who can use swag and things like that. In my case. But that doesn't mean one size fits all, that everybody's going to benefit from that. So,
and those types of events where you have nonprofit organizations, leaders, or you have leadership from political organizations, they can help tell your story to their employees and their friends and families and people at their church. So it's the seed just has to be planted by you wherever room you walk in.
Yes.
And then hopefully somebody will put a little water on it, and you'll grow and continue to grow.
I love that. I love that. I love that, because in the Bible, it talks about the mustard seed, and while it is the smallest seed, it can yield the biggest gardens.
That's right.
And so I always love anytime somebody pulls that planted the seed. I love that.
And if you're walking barefoot, it's the one that gets you the most pain, even though it's very, very small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. So I do have some that are on some questions that are on theme with protected and promoted.
Okay.
And so for protecting, what is one thing every entrepreneur should protect?
Their bank account, to make sure your
Mm,
financials. That if you have a secretary open in the mail, or if you have someone else open your mail, that you
yeah.
make sure that those checks and those, however you receive those payments electronic,
Mm-hmm.
that you're monitoring that. You know, and we learned that. I remember when Oprah Winfrey used to say she signs every check. And if you can imagine a billionaire signing every check,
You know.
those folks have got a few little
Mhm.
zeros behind their name need to be signing every check.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of fraud, especially within families.
Yeah.
A lot of small business owners will hire relatives, and
Yeah.
those are the worst ones to have to fire because
Mm,
it's attached emotionally.
yeah.
So how do you grow and get rid of your grandmama?
You
Are
know.
you- so we do
Yeah.
some of those leadership trainings
Yeah.
because because that's who comes with you to your business when you first open. It's family, it's friends and family, right?
Yeah.
And they have a lot of responsibility in your business,
Yeah.
and don't get too comfortable where you're not watching them,
Yeah.
because you have to watch yourself. That's the greatest thing, because that's the most I've seen in my 26 years here at Brick County.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a boss I worked for before. She did just that. She signed
Hmm.
every check. So the minute that somebody did go and deposit a
Yeah.
check that it was not her signature,
Hmm.
and so she was able to
Yeah.
contest it because otherwise,
That's right.
she's like, I sign everything.
That's right.
Nobody in my office signs my checks,
That's
and
right.
so that's sound advice. I love that. And
And checking the deposits, not just what goes out, but what comes in.
okay, who's moving money around in your
Who moving?
account?
That's
You
right.
know.
That's right.
And promote. What's one thing business owners should be promoting more?
Themselves, because most transactions are relationship,
Mm,
and you have to promote yourselves. Because if you go to a fast food joint and the owner comes hangs out the window, you more than likely 100% you're gonna come back,
mm-hmm.
right? Not just if the clerk or someone, right?
Yeah,
So you have to promote yourself to let folks know that you care about your own business,
yeah,
and you got to get out there, not just your staff or your friends or those folks, and because you're the one whose reputation is on the line. Your character is about. Sometimes you don't need credit if you got character.
yeah.
That's right.
That's true. I mean, it's even there's two different McDonald's in my neighborhood, and one I could tell that there's not a lot of pride in the work
Yeah.
that I still go because it's and I'm not gonna hassle them.
Yeah.
It's they're working, they're doing a
Mm-hmm.
job. But then there's another one
Mm-hmm.
on military. Every time I get a cookie with my order, I
Yeah.
get a hello,
Customer
how are
service. That's
you? And
right.
there's a lot of pride behind that
That's
work.
right.
So if I can, I'll actually go out of
Out
my
of my way.
way
That's
to go
right.
to that one.
See,
And so yeah,
customer
so
service makes a difference,
yeah,
especially if it's coming from the owner.
yeah, definitely. Again,
Definitely.
I like to trust who I'm going to do
That's
business with
right.
too, and so I can definitely see that. Um, What's one business belief you hold that others might disagree with?
Mm, if you see something, say something. Because a
Yeah,
lot of times people will say, "That's not my job. I'm not concerned about it."
yeah,
And there's a contract that's out there, and you're underperforming, but nobody will tell you what's the problem. Well, that's your contract. It's not mine.
mm-hmm,
And you look up, and no one has a contract because no one helped the owner to protect themselves.
yeah.
So we're all. You have to remember, you're all in it together.
There we go.
There's no competition, but
We can all eat.
we can all eat. We can all win.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And now, if you could sit at the business table with any entrepreneur, past or present, who would it be and why?
Hmm. That's a good one.
Or leader? I'll say or leader too.
Well, let's say business owner,
Hmm.
um, because there's so many that have done so much in the entrepreneurial space. So when we look at you know at those that change economies on a grand scale, right,
Hmm.
versus the public policy of changing those economies. You have tech has taken over the economy,
Hmm.
right, and
Yeah.
it made it easier for everyone. But just think when automated garbage trucks took over it made it easier for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, some things we don't even think about, right?
Yeah.
So those individuals who had the foresight, like I would love to sit down with the guy who came up with Southwest Airlines,
Mm-hmm.
and he did his business plan on a napkin
Yeah.
because it was very informal. Because if you get the vision, you can surround yourselves with those who can help you to put it together.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to trust them and know when they're not leading you the right way to be a
Yeah.
part of that. So it's I can't name any one because I have so many.
Yeah. Yeah.
And depending on the industry that they're in, it's just amazing.
Yeah. How the light bulb came
Yeah,
about, right?
that's right.
Um, so what is one thing every entrepreneur watching can do this week that will immediately improve their business?
Call us.
There we go. I love that.
Go check out our website. Depending on what you sell, this is the
Mm-hmm.
time of year where most governmental agencies are starting their budget process and then ending their budget process.
Yeah.
So it's the July, August that the policy of use or lose, because you would each one of us, whether you're state, federal, local, school districts, you were awarded monies to spend
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th and sometimes August 30th.
Yeah.
So those like yourself, like those promotional items,
Mm-hmm.
people are buying those right now because they have money to burn.
Yeah.
So how do you connect with them? How do you get to each one of them? That is a strategic planning process because it only happens in July and August.
Yeah.
Because if you're calling them in December, you know, they have a few dollars
Yeah.
and they can bid it out because
Yeah.
they buy larger quantities.
Yeah.
But right now it's a few dollars,
Mm-hmm.
but they're trying to move the product or service. So instead of buying 10,000 mouse pads, they might buy 500.
Yeah.
And if you had 30 agencies buying 500, that's a good little chunk of change for October,
Yeah.
and even for August, right?
Yeah.
So it's a strategic planning of when do I strike,
Mm-hmm.
how often, and for how much.
There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be calling in here on Monday. No.
Yeah, so we can put you in touch because there's so many different ways to sell
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And that's the and that kind of goes into the next question too is imagine someone is watching today and they've been dreaming about opening their own business for years, but fear has kept them from taking that first step.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell them?
I would say get into the planning to do the strategic planning because I have a
Mm,
lot of folks come see us because they're still working
yeah.
and they know that they want to get out within the next 6 to 8 months, but they don't have, they just don't want to take the courage to do it right now.
Yeah.
So we say, well, let's plan it. Let's figure out how can we get, what location are you thinking about?
Yeah.
So you keep saying, well, that's a great location. That's a great location, but it's been vacant for 5 years. Why is that such a great location?
Right.
Something's wrong with that location. So contact UTSA Small Business Development Study and they'll help you do a feasibility study. Because it might be access, it might be parking, but depending on what you want to do with it, it might be a great location if you don't need customer parking. If it's not a retail business,
Yeah.
it might be a great location, but it depends on what you want to do with the building. But no one else has touched it. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually the first thing. You can only do coupons and discounts for so long. You can only have your family eat with you for so many months. And then where is your actual customer or client coming from?
Wow. That's good food for thought. That is, I mean, that matters because if not, you could be setting yourself up for failure. So.
And most small businesses go out of business within 6 to 18 months,
Mm.
according to the Small Business Administration.
Wow.
Because they fail to plan.
Yeah.
And you just want to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
But do you really have any revenue? Or are you really working for free?
That part.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's negative.
Yeah.
And then you are going to mom and relatives just to buy gas, buy groceries. But you're this great entrepreneur. So you have to step back and say, what's my real audience and how am I really making money?
Yeah.
And if I have a hobby, which is usually the retail side, I might have to get a job until my revenue changes.
Yeah.
And then I can spend more time doing the job.
Well, and I like to be honest and be real, as I say, right?
Yeah.
It's like, even for myself, I had to recently do a bit of rebranding because I realized I was like, hey, I'm Juan. I do insurance. I do promo. I do travel. I
Yeah.
do paparazzi. I do Mary Kay. And a while back I was also doing laser engraving. So it was like people were just like, so what do you wait? Which one's your business
Yeah.
though?
Yeah.
And so I really had came up with Protected and Promoted because Protected, of course, insurance promoted swag. But because I just felt like I needed something that I could say both
Yeah.
and it not feel like a
Yeah.
mouthful still.
Right.
Because two is still even sometimes, it can be like, wait, but which one? But I'm like, I do both.
Yeah.
So I rebranded it the way I do it. But if it was just too many things and no planning on how I'm going to execute, what I'm focusing on, then I'm steadily trying to keep
Yes.
multiple things up and keeping nothing up.
Absolutely.
And
Because it's your management of your time.
yeah,
How do you manage? Well, how much time do you have dedicated to each one of these?
right.
And we start with the time management first in family, and then your own health, and then your own sleep, and then how many hours do I have left in a day?
Yeah.
Right? How much can I sacrifice? If I can live off of 2 hours of sleep every day, then I can do this. I can do it. If I need 6 hours, then I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. Right? And then you have to kind of set a strategic plan for yourself. Because number one, and then how much money do I need every month to cover just my basic minimum living costs, my rent, my food, whatever I need, gasoline, especially with this gas thing it is now. So then that's my minimum I know I have to do this month. And then what things do I have to be able to do that? And then if you have some seasonal aspect, maybe you can save because you do everything around Christmas time for 3 months. You save money to last you all year to take care of your basic living expenses. But those other 9 months, how do I spend my time? Right? And then your story or your 30-second, depending on who I'm talking to, what I do. I don't tell everybody what I do. It's depending on who I'm talking to. What do I do? So in your case, you may have all 5 businesses, but you only talk to the person who's benefiting from one of them and don't tell them all 5.
That part. I get that. Yeah. Sometimes I
Right?
lead with promo because it's less, I feel like with insurance, you really have to know who your insurance agent
Yes,
is
it's very personal.
sometimes. So it becomes more
It's very
personal.
personal.
And then eventually, I just say, hey, by the way, just want to let you know, I'm glad we got,
Yes.
your pen's taken care of or your backdrop. But who does your insurance for you?
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, all right.
Because the relationship through the promotional item will help establish the relationship for the trust for the personal business.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to do relationship first.
There we go. Yeah. Well, I have one last question here, and that is if you could recommend any business, whether it's a restaurant, a print shop, but literally any type of business, if there's a business you could recommend for our viewers to pay a visit to, what would that business be?
Let's see.
Promoted
and protected. Come see Juan and sit down with Juan. I don't recommend businesses. I recommend let's have a conversation, because if you need a mentor, that's a whole different conversation. Because why should you make all those mistakes somebody else made? Right?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I recommend folks do is to reach out to somebody who you want to maybe grow like they grew. And call them up, because the one thing I know is that people like talking about themselves.
I love that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When I worked telemarketing, that's something we would do too, is we would say, let them get the wind out, because sometimes, it would help them kind of diffuse and de-escalate and kind of calm down, is letting them talk about themselves. And but yeah, I agree. I just did it right now. No, I'm kidding.
And then you wind up taking nuggets, sometimes golden nuggets from individuals. Because if I'm in the shoe shining business and I meet somebody in that business, I need to go hear his story or research about it and find out what shortcuts he made, what problems he had or she had, and I can kind of figure out I can go a different path. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So, Renee, I do want to thank you for joining me, and on short notice. I'm so thankful for you and the incredible work you and your team do strengthen our entrepreneurial community here in Bexar County, and it gives us a lot of insight to possibilities for our businesses as well and what we can accomplish. And your passion for helping businesses start, grow, and succeed is inspiring. And I know our audience has learned something they can put into practice immediately. To everyone watching, if you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with another entrepreneur because you don't know what they might be able to take to get their business started or to feel inspired. And remember, protect what you built, promote what makes you unique, and we'll see you next time at Protected and Promoted, the business table. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Thank you again to Renee Watson for joining me on Protected and Promoted, the business table, and for sharing so many valuable insights for entrepreneurs and small business owners throughout Bexar County. If today's conversation inspired you to start a business, grow your existing business, or explore new opportunities, I encourage you to take the next step. Simply scan the QR code on your screen or check the links in this video's description to learn more about the Bexar County Small Business and Entrepreneurship Department. You'll also find their events calendar where you can register for free webinars, workshops, and educational classes designed to help your business succeed. And don't forget to mark your calendar for the annual Bexar County Small Business Conference, typically held each December. It's one of the region's premier events for entrepreneurs, bringing together expert speakers, networking opportunities, and resources to help take your business to the next level. If you found value in today's episode, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another entrepreneur who could benefit from these resources. I'm Juan Castaneda, and this has been Protected and Promoted, the business table. Until next time, keep protecting what you've built and promoting what makes you unique.